fill in the middle here.
It says Asia. Say Asia.
All right, we're gonna get started in just a minute.
On my home ground, baby, Staten Island.
Woo! Anyone else need a sign? We're gonna be sending this to our PR firm. So Katie's filming, Mariah's taking photos on our team. Hello, my name is, and Sonia is also taking photos. And so my name is Joelle Balamchuan. I'm with the Supportive Housing Network. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you. So thank you all so much for being here today, standing together in partnership and community for our Hands Up Housing Day of Action with Housing Works and other organizations. A coordinated statewide call to protect the vital housing programs that keep our communities safe, stable, and whole. We are incredibly proud to stand alongside tenants, service providers, and housing advocates rallying at this very moment across the state, from Long Island to Rockland and Washington counties, and right here on Staten Island.
Woo! That's right! Nothing about us without us!
United in one clear, urgent message. Congress must fully fund the housing programs that save lives.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna do a chant. I'm gonna say from Staten Island to DC, and you say fund HOPWA and COC. From Staten Island to DC,
Fund HOPWA and COC.
from Staten Island to DC,
Fund HOPWA and COC.
Amazing. We're gathered here today because the stakes have never been higher. Trump's proposed budget would slash HUD's budget by 44%.
That ain't right!
This would mean the elimination of housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, HOPWA, and devastating cuts to the continuum of care, the COC, the very backbone of permanent supportive housing in this country. Our partners here today will speak to just how critical these programs are and the life-saving difference they make for New Yorkers, including right here in Congressional District 11. But let's be clear about what's at risk. Since the early 90s, HOPWA has been the only federal housing program specifically dedicated to people living with HIV/AIDS stay safely housed. And the COC program is designed to end chronic homelessness through coordinated housing, services, and local partnerships. Right here in Congressional District 11, the COC supports over 7,000 homes, including nearly 4,000 permanent supportive housing units across Staten Island and parts of South Brooklyn. These are homes for people who have experienced long-term homelessness, chronic illness, and deep trauma. If this proposed budget goes through, those homes and the people living in them are likely to become homeless again. These are seniors, veterans, survivors of domestic and gender-based violence, people living with disabilities, chronic health conditions, or serious mental illness, all of whom rely on supportive housing to live with dignity, autonomy, and stability. And even though the House and Senate have released the budget proposals that roll back some of the most severe cuts, neither proposals come close to meeting the actual need. In practice, this still amounts to a cut, one that puts existing housing programs and the people they serve in jeopardy. Let's be clear, the fight isn't just about housing, it's about protecting our broader social safety nets against attacks on Medicaid, SNAP, and other lifelines that working families and vulnerable communities rely on every day. After today's rally, constituents will be hand-delivering a commitment letter to Representative Malliotakis calling on her to fully fund the HOPWA program, fully fund COC homeless assistance grants, and oppose any cuts or consolidations or harmful policy changes that weaken these life-saving programs. Because we know supportive housing works, it restores lives, it prevents an end homelessness, it offers foundation for healing, stability, and dignity, but only if it's funded. So today, we raise our voices loud and clear to say, hands off housing!
Hands off housing! Hands off housing! Hands off housing!
And now, I'm honored to introduce our remarkable lineup of speakers, each of whom brings deep roots in the community and will speak from both lived experience and professional experience to illuminate exactly what's at stake. And we're going to start with our partner in this Day of Action, Housing Works, Marquise Jenkins, Director of Organizing. Woo!
Bring it
Stand up like that!
What do we do?
Stand up like that!
As was said, my name is Marquise Jenkins, and I'm the director of organizing and Housing Works. And if this congresswoman from Staten Island don't understand, she needs to remember that we will be here every single month. I grew up in public housing, and I have organized with public housing residents for over 20 years. We're not talking about a luxury. We're not talking about a handout. We're talking about critical things that people need. The right to shelter, the right to health care, and the right to SNAP to food.
Yes.
So when we come here, Housing Works, who started in 1990, fighting back against the attacks on our people, making sure that there is a cure for people like me with AIDS. We know that the first step to cure is housing.
Absolutely.
It's housing. And so how dare this president and the Republican administration think that they can cut these valuable sources and that we will remain silent? Absolutely not. We are here today and we are saying, hands off housing!
Hands off housing!
Hands off healthcare!
Hands off housing!
And hands off our SNAP!
Hands off SNAP!
We will continue to fight. We will continue to organize. We will continue to be at these legislators' doors to make sure that you will never put us at risk. You will not do that on our watch. We are here to take this further, not go back. So one last time, hands off housing! Hands off housing! Thank you.
Thank you so much. One more time. Hands up housing!
Hands off housing!
Hands off housing.
Woo! Next up, we have someone who has committed her career to fighting for services and policies critical to the lives of New Yorkers. We have Christine Quinn, President and CEO of WIN. Christine.
If the proposals go through as they are written, WIN, with a stroke of a pen, will lose over $3 million in our supportive housing budget. That is an enormous part of our supportive housing budget and a lot of money, and we may not be able to find it somewhere else, which will mean that young women who've aged out of foster care but have a child, domestic violence survivors, people who are working so hard to overcome substance misuse, people who are addressing their mental health situation through supportive housing will end up more than likely in some of the shelters that we run. That is a tragedy. 30% probably of homeless families with children need supportive housing to thrive. We should be expanding it. You know, we've often heard from places like Staten Island and other boroughs, we don't want shelters. If you don't want shelters, you must have supportive housing. It's that clear.
That's right. That's simple.
Now, we're not standing in Staten Island by chance. We're standing here because Nicole Malliotakis is a member of the Republican Party. The party, through its control of both houses of Congress and the White House, are driving forward proposals to literally take food and shelter away from New Yorkers. Now, if that doesn't strike a moral chord for Nicole Malliotakis, she needs to think of it as constituents and votes. Because as has been said, there's thousands and thousands of units on Staten Island, apartments and homes funded by the Continuum of Care and other programs that are targeted. That is a huge number of potential votes to lose in a congressional election when, for better or worse, turnout isn't that great. But make no mistake, you take someone's home away, they're going to come out and make a point about who did it to them.
That's
So
right.
I urge Nicole Malliotakis to meet with all of us, to take the information today, and to not only oppose these cuts, but be a strong voice for urban America and formerly homeless people and people with HIV and AIDS. She is in a position where she could literally, being a Republican woman in Congress, transform what is happening, and that is what we are going to hold her to on behalf of the women and children and fathers that we represent and with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. Supportive housing saves lives.
Supportive housing saves lives.
Thank you. Next up, I introduce a partner and so much of the network's advocacy, Nicole Branca, Chief Executive Officer at New Destiny Housing.
provide housing for domestic violence survivors. The New Yorkers we house, the Staten Islanders we house, mostly women and children, have experienced such horrific abuse that they have left everything they have, their belongings, their home, their paperwork, their money, everything, just to be safe. Domestic violence is the #1 reason for family homelessness in New York City year after year. So when we talk about cuts to federal funding, we're talking about cuts that disproportionately affect DV survivors and their children. I'm here today to ask our congressional representatives to fully fund the HUD programs, especially the continuum of care, where there is a priority again for DV survivors and would disproportionately affect our families. And we must protect the emergency housing voucher program. Absolutely. It was a lifeline for survivors who were stuck with their abusers during COVID. And it will end at the end of this year if our representatives don't stand up and restore the funding.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
So not only would these cuts directly cause evictions across the city, state, and country, and Staten Island, for families who have already gone through the double trauma of abuse and homelessness, but it has a long-term trickle effect with the people we work with. New Destiny has personally housed hundreds of New Yorkers, hundreds of Staten Islanders, thousands of New Yorkers, hundreds of Staten Islanders with this program. Those landlords trusted us. Those small building and landlords, they trusted us when we said, we have a family, please house them. They'll pay their rent, we'll pay part of their rent, and we'll help them find stability again. And now that could all be gone. And those landlords are going to have to evict those families. They're not going to be able to pay their bills. And for years, we will have to try to rebuild that trust with the brokers and landlords that we've worked so hard to take our families. Exactly. So I'm here to just say our representatives have to say no to these HUD cuts. And they have to say no to putting families back on the street or back with their abusers.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Is back here?
Okay.
Okay.
Can we continue?
Next up, we have Rashid Ford, Area Director of Housing at Project Hospitality. Rashid.
Hands off housing!
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 We're here from Project Hospitality. We've been working down here on the front lines, some for decades. We see how every dollar is a bar of soap. Every dollar is a sponge, every dollar is a pillow, every dollar is a bed, every dollar is a mattress set. We see how every dollar impacts and creates something down here for Staten Islanders. Those who are behind desks far from the truth may not understand that everything that comes down to Staten Island represents a life changed, represents a service that is provided, represents a life that is empowered, inspired, brought to the next level, represents life expectancy, inspiration, family reunification. It's not just a dollar. It's not just money. These are people's lives. Yeah. We've been down here on Staten Island seeing how people didn't expect to live as long as they have and just keep living longer because of the help that we've been able to provide. We can't afford to have cuts like this. We can't afford to go through something that would turn this borough upside down. We can't afford that. Here at Project Hospitality, we will fight and we will talk and we will speak truth to power, that there will be no cuts. We see even one bed loss can displace a whole family. And then you're scrambling trying to find some new accommodations. That one family is impacted. That's a mother, that's a son, that's an uncle, that's an aunt. They are so many things. So this is not just about the money. This is about the human impact. This is about the quality of life for all of us. Because this is a public health solution.
Yes.
This is a public health solution. And I have a testimonial of one of our tenants that I'm going to read right now, and hopefully it illustrates and demonstrates and just conveys to those who have the power of the pen what the impact of these dollars looks and sounds like. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bonnie, and I'm here today to share why supportive housing programs like the one I was in should never be cut. Before I connected with Project Hospitality, I was facing some of the hardest struggles of my life. I didn't just need housing, I needed stability, guidance, and a safe environment to rebuild my life. Project Hospitality gave me that. They helped me enter detox and to begin my journey to sobriety. They stood by me every step of the way, providing not just a roof over my head, but real support and the resources to help me heal and grow. Because of their program, I was able to accomplish things I never imagined possible. I overcame addiction, stayed sober, and started working on my goals. Today, I have stable employment and a foundation for a better future, something I couldn't see before. Without supportive housing, none of this would have been possible. These programs save lives. They give people like me the chance to recover, rebuild, and thrive. Cutting supportive housing would take away hope from so many who deserve the same opportunity. I am living proof that supportive housing works. Please keep these programs funded because everyone deserves the same chance that I have. We say hands off housing.
Hands off housing!
Hands off housing.
Hands off housing!
Rashid, thank you so much. Supportive housing saves lives.
Supportive housing saves lives.
I'm gonna double check one more time if Mbake is here. Hello.
Right on time.
Right on time. All right, I'm gonna introduce Mbake Tiam, Housing, Health, and CAN Community Organizer with Center for Independence of the Disabled, New York.
Hello everyone. I apologize for the delay. My name is Mbake Tiam. I'm the Housing and Health Community Organizer at Center for Independence of the Disabled, New York. We advocate for people with disabilities in the 5 boroughs of New York City. So today is a pleasure for me to join the group here and Housing Works and everyone in this fight. We are motivated to tell Donald Trump and his administration that we are not going to give up. Even though the big ugly bill passed, we have to keep fighting. We disagree with his policy in making this country the way he wants. We all know that the cuts will impact the health care in Medicaid and Medicare, which will definitely impact people with disabilities and the elderly. We also know that the cuts will impact the housing, like the senior citizens rent increase exemption, and also the DRE, which is the disability rent increase exemption. All these programs that help people with disabilities and the elderly will be impacted by the cuts. And that's why we are here today to say no to these cuts, and we are here today to keep fighting and also advising everyone to come together as one so we can fight, and if you fight, we win. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we have our final speaker now. I'm proud to introduce a tenant advocate, Sonia with a Y.
Sonia with the Y. Sonia with the Y. Go ahead. Give it to us.
So, as is normally the case, the person who's most affected or impacted by your policy is the last one to ever have a say in the matter. Luckily, I've been given an opportunity, and even though I'm the last speaker, at least I get to have a say. So,
Best for last.
Right. The powerful message.
a veteran, elderly veteran friend of mine once mentioned that I may be, now walking with a walker, but I sure can walk circles around a congressperson if they cut my housing.
That's right.
That's right. So I'm hoping that we will, take this moment seriously. I represent not just seniors, I also represent veterans, and I also represent a domestic violence survivor. And I speak not for myself, I speak for thousands of people who are impacted by it. It's not just about the dollars. It's not just about a roof on top of your head. It's also about hope and dignity. The most important thing, a human right when you don't have dignity has no meaning. Imagine being homeless or being in a state where you have no place to go to.
how much that impacts your ability to have a dignified human existence. As human beings, we owe to each other that we provide dignity to each other. That's a very important part. And these dollars is surprising. I mean, if you look at the overall picture, you would be surprised that in the last 15 years or so, the top 0.1% of the US population, their income has increased by 4.5 times, 350%, more than quadrupled. So imagine if you are earning 10 billion, it is now 45 billion. And in the same last 15 years, the minimum wage has remained $7.25. That's right. So the people who provide the money, to create the capability for the billionaires or the millionaires to have remained at the same level. And what is even worse, the 2009 $7.25 now is roughly around $5.50. So actually, you have come down your ability to buy stuff. You've gone by a third down. So you are going down in your ability to have a basic rent and your food on table, while others, especially the billionaires, are thinking about going to Mars. More money. And with the government administration that is supporting that they pay zero taxes. Can you believe it? They're planning their weddings in Venice and God knows which all parts of the world, and spending millions and billions of dollars, and here something that is actually makes financial sense, economic sense. Every time you get somebody off the road and give them a proper home to stay, you also remove emergency services, you remove the requirements of any kind of violence, you remove the requirements of all kinds of things that could potentially end up with more dollars being spent. So it is not just sensible, it is stupid not to think otherwise. Right. My suggestion, therefore, is that we, as my old veteran friend said, I may have bad knees now, but I have very good memory, and I'm going to vote, and I will remember those who helped me when I was down. So let's all make this commitment that we will have good memory, and we will remember those who helped us when we were down. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today and for fighting for these vital housing programs. Again, after this, constituents will be hand-delivering a letter to Representative Malliotakis. We're calling on her to fully fund the HOPWA program, fully fund the COC homeless assistance grants, and oppose any cuts and consolidations or harmful policy changes that weaken these life-saving programs. We must fully fund housing because housing is healthcare, housing is a human right, housing first works, and housing saves lives. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. No, I'm good.
Yes,
Everybody, closed mouths do not get fed. We have already been told what's going to happen. Are you going to get up and fight, or are you going to stay docile and let them continue to remove the services that we need to continue to thrive in society? Wow.
Thank you. ¿Por qué estás aquí? ¿Qué le aconsejas a los que no pelean? Why you here? Why you telling people who don't want to fight?
For preventing housing cuts, preventing the SNAP cuts, and standing up against this administration that has passed this big, ugly bill, and we are not going to support that. We are going to continue to fight.
But what do you tell those people that say, I'm too busy to make phone calls?
You need to take a moment and make the phone calls because it's crucial to what we are doing for fighting against this administration. It just takes 2 seconds.
Don't be lazy. What is it title? Don't be complacent.
Don't be complacent and just stand up and fight.
Thank you. The rally has finished. This is the end of the rally. So we're here at the Staten Island Ferry.